terms of the scale and scope of what you're going to put out into the world for players to play around with, Sven?
I'll take this actually.
Okay, Adam. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm going to take it, Sven. I think that, as you say, you've already seen, just for early access, you've got multiple planes of existence. We're showing you Avernus. We're then taking you to Faerun, and when you get to Faerun, you're going to see Dungeons and Dragons, which you might expect. You're going to see temples. You're going to see a big chunk of gameplay on the surface world. A lot of it we haven't shown yet. You'll get to meet those goblins. You'll get to meet a lot of other people as well. And we've already teased the Underdark. He will be going to the Underdark. There's a lot to see. There's a lot of secrets and mysteries down there. There's a lot of danger down there as well. You're going to meet a lot of different characters. Some of them you may recognize if you're a D&D fan. You already met Volo previously, and he made a brief cameo, I think, earlier today for an eagle-eyed who spotted him. But you will meet lots of different characters, many different characters. You're going to see different factions of which you'll recognize, some that we've invented ourselves. And of course, there's going to be a lot of monsters on the surface and in the Underdark. And those monsters include...
World premiere.
A bullet. Now, Chris, could you tell us what a bullet is?
Yeah. A bullet is a terrifyingly large monster that sometimes goes by the name land shark. And what it does, as its name suggests, is it burrows under the ground just below the surface, churning up the earth as it goes while it hunts. And then when it sees something it wants to eat on the surface, it bursts up out of the ground to chomp on it. And it's big and terrifying. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. I mean, you have so much content in EA. I know we were talking earlier. You thought it would be 20+ hours of stuff for folks to play around with. So lots of stuff to it. And I think people probably want to know also about the classes, like what classes are going to be available, what level we'll be able to reach in early access. Can you give us any kind of details there, Sven, on what we can expect?
Yeah and no. So because we are since we're still building the early access content, we're still slightly hesitant to announce all of the classes that are going to be in there. But I think that we should be able to cover at least a few of them. Chris, what do you play actually for the moment? What is it? What would you play?
So I often play rogues. I'm also a fan of fighters, and I like rangers because they're in touch with the primeval natural world.
All right.
Those are my favorites.
Well, we'll have all of those covered, so that's already something.
Oh.
And there will be more. So we'll have a action of classes that are going to be in there. We'll have quite a few races, quite a few sub-races. We don't know exactly how many are going to be there. It depends on a couple of assets. We are going to allow you to create your own custom character. So when you'll see character creation, we should be presenting it soon enough. You will see you get a lot of customizability. As a matter of fact, later on the stream, we'll show a bit of gameplay that I just or stumbled upon by fooling around in character creation and like just picking an option and said, oh my god, I start with that and now I can do that, and that is really cool. So you'll be able to create a wide selection of custom characters. And we'll let you in early access play up to level 4. Now, before you go saying, what, only level 4? Level 4 in Dungeons & Dragons is actually quite a lot already. Can you maybe help us explain that, Chris?
Sure. Well, the good news is that you're not as frail as you were when you were level 1, so you can take a bit of punishment. But more importantly is once you get to level 4, you've already made some key character-defining decisions. For instance, your class, you've chosen a subclass, which is sort of like a way to specialize within your class. And not only have you chosen a subclass, but you've probably had the option to choose a feat, which is a mechanic that lets you further customize your character and gives your character access to new ability. And obviously, if you're a spellcaster, by the time you hit 4th level, you're starting to get some fairly interesting spells.
Can you handle a bullet?
Even at level 4. Yeah, I was going to say, you're still going to struggle when we throw a land shark at you. You're still going to get shot.
Yes.
But
yes.
Thankfully, you'll be traveling alone. In early access, there are 5 companions that you can recruit that you'll meet during your journey. I'll briefly mention who they are. You will have met some of them already if you've been following our development. But here's a quick rundown. So there's Will. He's a human warlock who might feel either very at home or very alarmed by where I am right now. The Shadowheart, who's a dark cleric on a mission from her goddess. Asterion, who's a very unusual character. He's a vampire spawn, so he has some unique mechanics. Lysel, who's a Githyanki warrior, who you see in the CGI intro. You see the Dragon Riders there as well. She's not with that group, but they are of the Githyanki. So she knows a lot about mind flayers, so she's a very interesting character. And there's Gale, and Gale's a human wizard who has more things going wrong inside him than just a tadpole, but we'll say no more about that.
Now, with all these companions, I think everyone wants to know, can friends play companions? Are we going to get multiplayer in, at least in EA?
So not instantly. So we'll introduce you to play as one of the origin characters later on. That'll give people the opportunity to get to know the companions from a third-person point of view, if you want, just by recruiting them. Gotta say, depending on which companions you pick, we talked about permutations earlier, you'll get a completely different experience. Like if you, for instance, if you take Shadowheart and Lysel, they can't stand each other, so that gives you completely different dynamics than if you take characters that actually like each other. So you should be able to have a lot of fun fooling around with these things. And we will have multiplayer in there, so you will be able to play with a party of up to 4. You'll be able to play online, you'll be able to play in LAN. We won't have split screen available from the get-go, but that will be added at some point during development also. So there's going to be quite a lot of things that you can fool around with, because between the class choices that you have and the race choices that you'll have and the choice of companions that you can have, that's already, when you start adding up all the permutations and you see what it means in game to have made those choices, that's already a lot of content that is going to be present in there.
Yeah. You talked a little earlier about still figuring out quite what classes will be available at EA. I mean, it's like there's still things to be done, but I know we're going to pin you down on a date by the end of the stream, you promised. What is there left to do kind of between now and when you let the world in for early access on the game?
Right. So I don't think we're going to add much more characters like us last minute anymore. So that was just really because they were still working on the tutorial area. I have to say the tutorial area is not finished yet, so we need to finish that one. We got the Act 1 that Adam talked about, that's done. So all the content is there. We're still balancing. There's some assets like the bullet that we talked about earlier on. Right now it looks like a bear because it's using the placeholder for bear, but soon
which is terrifying when
it
comes out of the ground.
It's pretty cool actually. It chases you around the Underdark, so it comes out at the most inopportune of times. So it's rather interesting encounter, especially because it mingles with other encounters and you don't know when it's going to happen, and it's like it freaks the hell out of you because you're almost dead and then suddenly the bullet is there and you say no. So we'll see how that works in early access if people hate it or not. But we're doing play tests now. And, actually, we have a bunch of people that are going to be passing by in the next couple of days, and so that will be going on until early access. We'll do balancing against them. We'll get rid of the most obnoxious UI things that might be in there that we have overlooked. So we'll try to fix the most prominent bugs. And then the last bit that is really, if there's one thing that at this point I think might cause a slight delay in addition to the date that I'm about to announce.
Oh my God! Here's the asterisk.
It's the asterisk. It's the optimization. So the game is coming out for both PC and Stadia. We want to get the minimum specs fairly low, so that a lot of people can already start fooling around with it. So there's a bunch of optimizations that need to happen, and optimizing is a very special profession. In the sense that every single time you optimize something, only then do you discover what the next thing is that you have to optimize. So these guys are literally driving blind in the realm of obstacles of optimization. So they're feeling moderately optimistic. I mean, I had a lunch with them today, and they were in a good mood, so that's good, because usually they're panicking. So we'll see how it goes. So it's looking okay, and I'm optimist by nature, so I'm just going to stick to that, and so I hope that everything is going to work out
I was going to say, we
mean,
still get dated. Don't pull the date at the end. We need to get a date.
No,
but
no.
obviously, there's so much to this. We will give you guys a date. Don't worry. But Sven's always super honest with everyone about stuff. So yeah, we want to talk a bit more. I think about the gameplay of what you're going to get in early access on Act 1. But before we do that, let's check back with Crusher to see what you guys picked. And based on the last prompt, it looks like 65% of you picked to kiss his foot and attempt to steal the ring. So we're about to see a
rogue.
Ring heist. Yes, let's see how this goes down.
Social distancing option as well.
Good riddance. You deserve all of that. You didn't listen to what I said.
Catch a whiff of lavender. It gives way to the muddy taste of something better left without description.
You enjoying that? Disgusting, slimy. You stinking thief! I'll rip your fingers off!
Well, you ruined that. All right,
That's
well, Nick
what
is
you
going to have a
get.
lot of fun trying to get to the next section. Let's see if he's going to manage to do that. So there's as we're looking at this disaster in the making. Yeah, this is not gonna end well. Although Nick, I mean, like I did introduce him. He's our lead system designer, so he might actually manage to get something sorted out. I wanted to chat about something as we'll let Nick in the background do combat. I wanted to chat about something that we didn't talk about yet, is how the early access content of Original Sin 2 compares to Baldur's Gate 3 actually. It's a bit I wanted to talk about to give you an idea of exactly how much is in there. Can we, are we going to watch the entire combat? You can cut away, I think, from it. It will take some time.
Let's let Nick deal with that on his own. Yeah.